What is up, everybody? Sixers win 113-95 against Luka, Doncic, and the Dallas Mavericks. Joel Embiid, a dominant game today, and I am here joined with my man Dibes at Mr. Crockpot on Twitter and at T Scabby on Twitter. We got our man Tiago. Guys, how you doing? How'd you enjoy the game?
Embiid's dominating. Life is good, man. Life is good. Let's talk some positive Sixers basketball tonight.
Definitely. I completely agree. And I think we got to start out with just talk about Joel Embiid. Yeah. I think we got to start out talking about. So Tiago, what are your thoughts on Joel Embiid tonight?
Yeah, man. Just when you thought that the MVP race was pretty much wrapped up in favor of Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid reminded us once again why he's the best center in the NBA tonight. You know, we can talk about how Dallas didn't have the right personnel on the court to defend him, but it doesn't really matter, man. Like, he had the mindset tonight to attack, get to the line. He did whatever he wanted to Dallas's defense. It was one of his most impressive performances of the year. And I thought that he really set the tone from a physical standpoint. I thought that Dallas tried to play physical with the Sixers early. And even Doc said in one of the timeouts, it was like, you know, we're the more physical team here. And Embiid was a big part of that, man. He was phenomenal tonight. There's no other way to describe his performance. It was masterful, Embiid.
We have Chris
I completely agree.
Chris Moore there, 8-1 record when Joel Embiid attempts 15 free throws. You also the Sixers are now 19-4 this season when Embiid attempts 10 or more free throws this season. That is dominance. And when you see Joel Embiid start off the first quarter, 8 of 8 from the free throw line.
Yeah, man.
That's it, man. That's it. I dug a little deeper when Embiid has, because this was on pace. He was on pace for like 30 free throws at one point for the game. It was obnoxious. And 6 times in Embiid's career, he's actually had 20 or more free throws. They have won all 6 of those games, the Sixers. So he didn't hit the 20. He didn't eclipse the 20 mark. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, go ahead.
With the free throws, though, I do want to talk about a stat that I looked this up earlier today, and I'm going to put it on the screen real quick. I just got to navigate to. I hate it. It's so many buttons to get to sharing screen sometimes. Here it is. So Joel Embiid, when it comes to free throws this season. So I don't know. You want to read that for me, Dibes?
All right. So Joel Embiid, after playing his 36th game this season, he has 357 total free throws made so far. That passes his season total from last year of 351.
And so last year in 51 games, he had 351 free throws made. And in only 36 games this year, he has 357. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that not only shows that dominant mindset that he's had coming into the year when it comes to getting to the line, it shows me Doc Rivers putting him in the situations to get the best production out of his game. Like, to me, that's a huge stat.
There's no way to stop Joel Embiid with the space that he has around him. I mean, we've talked about this many times. He has the space. He has the dribble drive game. He has a face-up game. He can just bully the living crap out of you in the post. There are absolutely no answers to Joel Embiid. And I'm really interested to see what that game on Wednesday is going to look like against the Nets, because I really think he could be the great neutralizer to Brooklyn's offense. You know, we talk about how to stop Brooklyn's offense, right? You should go to the free throw line, have your defense set in the half court, rinse and repeat. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out on Wednesday, because just like Dallas, I don't think Brooklyn has any answers for Joel Embiid unless you guys think differently. So
we rarely
sorry, go ahead.
We rarely see Joel Embiid locked in like we have tonight. There was a moment in this game where Willie Cauley-Stein knocked him on his ass, and on that next offensive possession, Embiid went right at him. I'm talking right at him. The next couple possessions, you had like a turnaround fadeaway jumper. Then you had him just dive right in between like 3 Mavericks players and get whatever he wants right at the rim. He was locked in that, especially that third quarter. I think he had 13 points in that third. Like, he started out 9 of the first 12 points for the Sixers, 13 points in that quarter. But man, like, you saw that really in that third quarter. Like, that's MVP. And there were times where we were like, holy cow, my good. Like, he was getting whatever he wanted, wherever he wanted. It was awesome.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, I think you now have to like. I think he has a new nickname. I tweeted this. I think it's Joel the Dream Embiid. I think I think we can put that in. We can put that there.
You saw it tonight. You saw it. You saw the one jumper.
And just want to put on Embiid because like the scoring out of this world, defense out of this world. But I even thought like the passing. I mean, they were throwing like hardcore double teams at him early because that's all they really had as an answer for Embiid. And I thought that he made absolutely every single right read that had to make in the first half. He was calm. He was poised. You know, he kept the ball up in the air. Didn't allow folks to poke away from him. And he made some phenomenal reads. Found Tobias on a cut. Found Seth Curry across court. So it was a complete package tonight, man. MVP type performance, no doubt.
And one turnover.
One turnover.
One freaking turnover, which came right at the end of his night tonight. But it's that zero.
So it's funny you say that about turnovers because I was watching Dylan Davis's show earlier, The Daily Dose, on our YouTube channel, and Dylan specifically called out. He said Ben Simmons won't have more than 2 turnovers today. Guess how many turnovers Ben had today? One.
Yeah.
One. So Dylan, I don't know if you're watching, you're probably not, but if any of y'all know Dylan Davis, go tweet at him and say he was right because he was right.
One turnover in the last 52 minutes for Ben Simmons. I know that is the hot topic, but when Ben is not turning over the ball and is getting others involved, that's my Ben Simmons, baby.
Yeah. Definitely. Ben Simmons, 8 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. Only 1 steal, but his defense was still very, very good tonight. It sucks because I feel like a lot of people are going to say that Ben didn't play well against Luka tonight because of the Luka's numbers, but realistically, Ben got switched off a lot. Seth Curry Seth Curry was running around on Luka, it seemed like most of the game. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that at all, Ben Simmons or Luka Doncic and how he got his numbers tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. You go first.
No, you're 100% right. You switched to death. You saw it like from the early jump of this game. They were literally dragging Ben off of Luka from the jump. Switch. Tobias Harris got a good bulk of Luka to start the game. But it was just so blatantly obvious when we're talking on Discord. Like, what are they doing? Like, you look at Ben against Luka Doncic over the last 3 games, 51 possessions, only 13 points, 5 of 12 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3. He was 2 of 7, I believe, tonight. I could be wrong about that. So I'm excited to wake up in the morning, see if Ben or Luka still has a goose egg of 0 3-point shots made against Ben Simmons. But Ben was terrific tonight. He was absolutely terrific tonight. Go ahead, Tiago.
Yeah, I mean, Chris touched on it. They were switching him off Luka the entire game. I thought that at the beginning of the second half, Ben really made himself felt on the defensive end. There was a couple possessions where he really pushed Doncic out of his comfort zone. But I thought for me what was really interesting is that, you know, one of the comments I think mentioned on there, like they had Ben running the second unit tonight. So it wasn't the whole bench unit in the second quarter mostly. And I thought it was Ben's best basketball in a while. I mean, he was really comfortable running the second unit. It was kind of vintage Ben Simmons in the open court, running dribble handoffs with Korkmaz, finding guys off double teams. And I thought he really got in his groove in that second quarter. It was nice to see him just have the ball in his hands. You know, I know they like him doing a lot of screening off ball and stuff, but, you know, in that second quarter it was vintage Ben. And I thought he really got into a groove and made himself a big impact in the game in that first half. And again, the second half is more of the same. So I thought it was a good game from Ben, and hopefully he can continue that on because, you know, they need more of that from him here to close out the week.
There was a play where he bodied Luka. You remember that play where he bodied Luka Doncic?
Oh, yeah.
Right in the paint, made him just look silly. Made him look absolutely silly.
I thought him and Embiid, like, they set the tone from a physical standpoint. They were both, you know, they were like, sure. you guys want to play physical? I'm 6'10", I'm 7 feet tall. You know, like, let's go. And it's not going to happen.
Yeah, a comment that I'm seeing right here. CJ said, "Can't believe Mavs look so bad. I didn't even notice Tim Hardaway Jr. in the game." That's something I wanted to touch on. Tim Hardaway Jr. gives the Sixers hell typically when the Sixers face off against the Mavs. I went to a game last year where it was the second. I remember it was the second game they lost at home all season, and it was because Tim Hardaway Jr. Luka was even out. Luka was out for the game. Tim Hardaway Jr. went off for almost 30 points. I was like, what? I'm like, who is this guy, and why does he always play well against the Sixers? So it was nice to see a game where you really saw out there, like defensively, they played well. Even though, yes, Luka got his numbers, defensively, the Sixers had a good game. I'm not sure how many steals in total they had this game. It might not even been steals necessarily that they had. It was more just the contests were always really good. They were always right up on people. But ultimately, I just think, to me, that was really impressive to see how well defensively we were playing against such a good offensive team. And I'm not sure what.
Nothing. I'm just looking at the box score, and I see that like Furkan Korkmaz was so terrific off the bench. Then you look at Dwight Howard with 4 freaking turnovers there.
Yeah, Furkan's actually someone I wanted to get into as well. Furkan Korkmaz, how many games is last game? He scored 20 as well, correct?
Yeah, he scored 20. 20 the previous night, 4 of 10 from 3, 12, but against the Pelicans, 4 of 8 from 3, and tonight he was just absolutely lights out. We were talking about
20 points.
Looked like Manu. He looked like a little Manu just running around back there. I don't know what the hell I'm watching right now, guys. It's crazy.
He's
it's scary. It's scary. So basically, what you're saying right now is that he definitely shouldn't be in the starting lineup. That's what I'm hearing from that statement. He's got to be the.
Furkan Korkmaz looks so good that Ben and Dwight look great next to each other tonight.
I would not go as far as putting Korkmaz in the starting lineup, but I will say this.
Oh, hell no.
I do think a couple of things. So when you're talking about with Tim Hardaway Jr., Justin, they try to switch, Ben off Luka, right? But I think what happens is the Sixers' defensive versatility is so big that you can still have, Tobias on Luka, and now you got Ben on Tim Hardaway Jr. So, you want to play that game, you can. The Sixers are versatile enough that they can switch, and they can still keep one of your best defenders on your complementary shooter. So it's a game of chicken. It's a game of chess, and, Dallas lost that game tonight. I thought they picked on Seth Curry a lot, especially in the second half on pick and rolls, which I don't know what you guys think. Like, I start thinking about, like, what the postseason is going to look like, and is Seth Curry a guy you're going to play in crunch time? Because it looked like tonight it was too much for him in the pick and roll.
So on that specifically, and I've been saying this ever since we picked up George Hill, I really do think that come postseason, there's a very good chance Seth Curry loses a lot of late game minutes depending on the matchup with George Hill. Because George Hill, yes, he's not as good of a three-point shooter as Seth is. He is still close to him. I think Seth's around that, like a little bit over 40% right now, and George Hill hovers around that 40% as well, around 38 to 40. Yeah. So I do think that George Hill, because of his better defense, because of the length he does provide you, I think he ends up taking a lot of minutes away from Curry at the end of games. Just purely based on that, because like you said, you saw it today. You saw Ben Simmons would be playing the point of attack on Luka Doncic, and as soon as they come up and set a pick, as much as Ben Simmons was trying to fight through and get back to Luka, you're not always going to be able to do that. And possessions like that are key in the playoffs. If losing little possessions like that, especially against teams like Brooklyn specifically in the playoffs, is going to kill you. So I definitely agree with you on that one. That could be an issue moving on.
Yeah. This comment: the Furkan defense with his charge and steal had me up. That's it, man. That is what I'm talking. Like when Furkan's not a zero defense, a negative defensively. Like you look at the OKC game, 5 steals. You look at how Korkmaz started his night. It was a steal. He drew a charge. Like that's the energy, man. That's the swagger. I love seeing that from Furkan. I don't know what that means moving forward, and I fully agree. Everyone's freaking out about Ben Simmons. Like you look at Seth Curry's shooting numbers over the last several months, they have been declining rapidly. That's way more concerning, especially when you're talking about playoff basketball, ISO basketball, pick and roll, the 2-man game with him and Joel. That's a bigger concern. And I think how that dynamic plays in with George Hill and how he fills in, whether off the bench, in the starting lineup, crunch time, all those different optionalities with lineup combinations. That's the bigger story.
Yeah. And can we talk about the fact that, and to me, this is like one of the biggest points of the whole game. The Sixers were able to keep Embiid on the floor for only 25 minutes.
Yeah.
You had your star players playing Tobias Harris 27 minutes, Joel Embiid 25, Danny Green 25, Ben Simmons 24. Like, these are guys that last year and even early in the season were playing probably up to like 35, 36 minutes a game typically, especially Simmons, who even at times we playing damn near 40 last year.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that this year you're able to take pressure off your stars, or even like get yourself ahead in the game so much that they don't even have to play the fourth quarter pretty much. I'm not sure what time exactly it was that Joel and Ben and Tobias got out of the game, but I didn't see them in that game. I'm pretty sure most of the fourth quarter.
They didn't play the entire fourth quarter.
They didn't play the entire fourth?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, like, to your point, like, Dallas went to their starters pretty early in the fourth quarter. And the Sixers bench unit, like, went toe for toe with them for most of that fourth quarter. Yeah. I thought that it was a really, really good Shake Milton game. Offensively, when the Sixers needed a bucket from their second unit, it was Shake Milton making the right decisions, attacking, getting to the rim, not turning the ball over at the rate that he usually does. So I thought it was a big part of why the Sixers were good in the fourth quarter. And, I mean, you can go back and watch that fourth quarter. Like, we can talk about Luka's defense, man. It's embarrassing. Like,
I don't even necessarily think the defense, like, yes, his defense is embarrassing, but it seemed like an energy thing to me, at least this game. Yeah. I don't get to watch, like, Doncic every game, but from what I saw, it was like, it seemed like his energy was just depleted. Like, he was, for one, they had a back-to-back, but for two, it just seemed like he just wasn't in it. Joel just took that energy out of him in the game. You progressively saw him as the game went on, just banging his head, getting pissed off. Yeah. Like
I agree with you. He's a guy who wears his emotion on his sleeve, and you can tell when he's frustrated. It's visibly to the eye. But I do think that he's carrying too much weight, and he fatigues faster than most players. And the Sixers were running like Korkmaz off screens, and he was like nowhere in sight. So I don't know what Dallas expects to get out of that lineup from a defense standpoint, but you know, it was not a good look against the Sixers second unit. So
yeah, and I think to your point about Shake Milton you made earlier, Shake Milton was a plus 16, the best plus minus off our bench. Only had one turnover, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, so got there a good amount. 3 for 6, 50% on the day, 10 points and 5 assists with 3 rebounds. So you really can't complain about that at all. And to your point again, with how the bench lined up against
30 pounds a little too much.
Don't be laughing at the comments. Don't be laughing at the comments, all right?
It's a little too much.
And to your point, the Sixers bench playing well against the Dallas Mavericks starting lineup towards the end of the game. The Sixers actually only had 1 point less than Dallas did in the whole fourth quarter. So Dallas had 26 points in the fourth, and the Sixers had 25. So, like you said, the bench was out there the whole time. Yep. So I think that's a key thing.
I wouldn't trust them doing that every night, but you take what you can.
For sure. Let's be real. Last time we thought the bench was going to be the key thing to this team, like depth was going to be one of our positives, was early in the season. Then all of a sudden we realized how inconsistent they were. There's a reason why the Sixers traded for George Hill, and don't let that escape you, everybody. Yeah. But yeah, so you guys have any other big takeaways about this game before we get into grades or your player of the game tonight?
I mean, when the game, what stands out to me about this game, the Sixers had 9 turnovers, but really in the guts of the game, they're only at 4 turnovers, and then the fourth quarter happened. It was just a nonsense kind of game. You look at 24 assists to that 4 turnovers. So, it was just a top to bottom great game. You look at the first half, the Sixers completely dominated. Not a single Mavericks player was a positive on the court in that first half. Then you look at the box score now, it pretty much is the same thing, other than Trey Burke in his like 4 minutes. Give me a freaking break. But it was really talked about. This is the recipe to success. This is Sixers basketball. Great defense and getting to the free throw line. So, I mean, how can you not be happy about tonight's performance?
My biggest takeaway was, could JJ Redick look any more unhappy being in Dallas? He looked like he was in jail, man. He was sentenced to death row or something, man. He did not look happy to be there. And I listen, I get it, man. You want to be in Brooklyn close to your family, but this is the life of the NBA, man. You're playing for a good team. Act like you want to be out on the court. I don't know.
Is he playing for a good team though? Like, realistically, are they like, where are they in the seeding right now in the West? I'm not even sure.
They're the 7th seed, I think. They're definitely better than the Pelicans. I mean, they're probably a first-round exit. Again, KP didn't play tonight. They're a little bit better than what they played. But
definitely.
Yeah, they're not a team I don't think that can make a lot of noise in the West. But who knows?
I want to share this real quick. You look at how good Danny Green has been. Like, we all scream about, we need a JJ. We need JJ to come back. Whoever. Look at how good Danny Green has been this season. He's right up there with percentages. He's right up there with 3 points made. This is 53 games into 2017 versus 2021. Danny Green, man, not Seth Curry. Danny Green, and his defense over the last month or so plus has been terrific. Absolutely terrific. So JJ Redick, who?
I still think that if the Sixers had a guy like Wayne Ellington on this team, it would be a really big difference maker. Just purely based on the inconsistencies of Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz from 3, I think having a guy like that would be ridiculous coming off your bench, especially now that you have George Hill. If Furkan's having a bad night at the small forward or at the shooting guard spot, or Shake Milton's having a bad night, plug that guy right in there.
I mean, we can start talking about what the playoff rotation is going to look like, right? So you got the 5 starters, and then you got George Hill, you got Matisse Thybulle, and you got Dwight Howard. And I think you're going to get some Shakes sprinkled in, maybe like 5 minutes, 6 minutes max. So I think that's really your group, unless I'm missing somebody there. I don't really see it.
I kind of think that Shake might get more minutes than Matisse. But
so?
I think it depends. I think it depends matchup based. I think it's very, very matchup based. I think if you're going up against a team that's really, really strong, has really strong guard play, you're going to get more Matisse just defense wise. But ultimately, I think they like Shake's offense more often. There's a reason why at the end of games this year that you've seen that switch, you've seen that in and out of Shake and Matisse. So I think it's going to be more situational than it is going to be like, okay, Matisse is going to be playing this and Shake's going to be playing 5 to 6 minutes a game.
Right.
Yeah. I think Matisse is going to get a lot of minutes in the playoffs. A lot of minutes. I'm interested to see how the Dwight Howard situation plays out, especially in the playoffs. Like when you have a guy getting, personal foul, turnover, like that can't happen in like a 10-minute span come playoff time. That swing makes a huge difference in the come playoffs when every bucket matters. So yeah, the Dwight thing is where I'm stuck. I don't know if I can trust Anthony Tolliver in the playoffs or any of that noise.
I think that whole Anthony Tolliver thing is we're gonna have to see what happens with that, because honestly, I don't think anybody knows what he's gonna do for this team.
I mean, Doc's hinted he might not even play in the 10-day contract that he has.
Yeah.
So, I would give him a chance to play center, see what he looks. He did play center at Portland. But that's up to Doc to see how he wants to work that out. He's just in love with Dwight, man. I mean, he loves Dwight. So.
He brings a toughness for sure. There is that, but I value when Ben's on the court. I value spacing way more than any of that garbage. I will say, you see Mike Scott. How many threes did Mike Scott miss today that were long or just complete, didn't even touch the rim? So like, oh jeez.
Let's be honest there, and like I really do think that there is a shot. I think it's going to be between those two. I think it's going to be whoever he's going to give, like one guy some minutes one day, another guy those minutes the other day, and we're going to see what happens. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man. Some more Ben Simmons hate on the chat. What else?
Yeah, I'm not even going to give him the time. Don't give him.
We don't even got to give him the time. All right. Well, Listen, guys, ultimately, who's your player of the game tonight? We'll start with you, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh, it's Embiid. I mean, it's absolutely Joel Embiid. Just absolutely dominant from the jump. He had 8 free throws, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. But that there were a couple moments in this game that I'm certainly going to remember. I make a lot of Sixers highlight reels, and there are a couple plays in this game by Joel Embiid just bullying Willie Cauley-Stein, the Hakeem Dream turnaround jumper, him just diving into the paint like through 3 different Dallas Mavericks players and just getting whatever he wanted and won. There are a lot of plays like that that were super, super memorable. Again, he had 9 points of the first 12 points for the Sixers in the third quarter. He finished it with 13 points. He didn't play again after that. That's how good he was. He was really truly the player of the game. This guy's an MVP. I tweeted about it before the game ended. We're watching Joel Embiid MVP right now, guys. Like, can we just soak that in? Soak it in that we're actually witnessing a Sixers MVP type of performance instead of just whining and complaining about Ben and all this garbage. The Sixers are one of the best teams in the NBA. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy the ride. I think George Hill is going to add a lot of dynamic to this Sixers bench. So I'm just my only thing is enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
I agree. How about you, Tiago?
Yeah, I mean, to what Chris is saying, there's been a lot of talk about Jokic having the MVP locked up. This is a big week for Embiid, man. I think he can make a final push here. You got the Nets, you got the Clippers, 2 big-time title contenders. So I think this is a great start for Embiid to make his name, re-enter the MVP conversation. And I'm excited, man, because these are teams that, again, I talked about it earlier in the podcast. I don't really think they have an answer for Embiid. I really don't. Maybe you can say Brooklyn with DeAndre Jordan. They like playing that kid Claxton. The kid is like 100 pounds. He's going to, get eaten alive. And then the Clippers have Ibaka and Zubac, who neither have the ability to hang with Embiid in the post. So I am really excited to see Joel play this week. I think he has one more MVP-type run. And if we get to Sunday talking about, back-to-back 35-plus point performances from Joel, I think it's worth rehashing that MVP conversation, man. I really do. I mean, Jokic is playing great, but, these are big-time games, and this is a great start for the Sixers. So give him a lot of credit. Tonight he played phenomenal. I thought Ben played really well tonight as well. I thought those 2 guys, they reminded us why they're stars and why we give so much hope for them in the city. And they played lights out tonight, so it was a really good game.
Yeah, I'm going to give Furkan some love. I think he deserves it. Furkan with the 20-point game, 7 for 10 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and the 2 steals. He had 5 steals yesterday. So, or the other day. He's been super impressive as of late. And if he keeps going on that track, he is going to carve out a spot in the rotation for himself. So as much as that's scary to say, I think that's I hope nothing but the best for him, and either his success means success for the Sixers. So that's all I care about. Yeah. But guys, let's move on our way out of here. Plugs, Tiago, what you got going on?
Yeah, so we're gonna start doing a lot of college basketball stuff coming up. I know Chris is gonna get fired up after the Eagles once the Eagles blow their other draft coming up here.
Oh my God.
Once they draft that wide receiver out of, Caltech or something like that.
I love it.
Then we're going to get into some NBA college stuff. So, yeah, look out for that.
Look out for that on thepaintedlines.com and on our YouTube channel where you might have videos and everything breaking down some college players. How about you, Dibes?
Oh, man, I've been just kind of deep diving into the NFL draft lately. I've been joining a lot of other podcasts on Marvel, DC, fun things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you love the NFL draft, we've been doing tons of mock drafts. I put out a mock draft today at thepaintlines.com. It was my worst case scenario. If guys like Surtain and Horn and Smith and Waddle and all those guys are gone, what happens? What can the Eagles do to have a really good draft? So that's fun. I think I've done 8 mock drafts now on the channel. So
Yeah.
I am just one of those like degenerates, man. I'm a full
So guys, basically, go make sure you make his time worthwhile. Go check those out. Go look at the videos. Go check it out on thepaintedlines.com. And make sure you go follow all them on Twitter. We got Tiago at Tscabia. We got Dibes at Mr. Crockbutt on Twitter. And go follow me on Twitter as well at J_Persichetti. Like we said, go check out thepaintedlines.com for all your written content, and that'll put you basically everywhere. So go check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe if you have not already. And guys, listen, Sixers beasts won this game 113-95. Joel Embiid's a monster. And we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup in on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match